If I asked you what it takes to build true wealth, what would you say? Endless hustle, relentless networking, waking up before the sun to outwork the rest of the world. You have been lied to. Important note: this is timeless wisdom. Read the description below this video to aid you in achieving the optimum results, because society teaches you to burn yourself out chasing money. And that is exactly why millions of men work themselves into an early grave and still die broke. There is a specific kind of stuck that you know all too well. You work hard, you read the books, and every single night you set the ambitious goals and put in the grueling hours while the rest of the complacent world sleeps. And yet the breakthrough you were promised never seems to arrive. It feels as though you are driving with the emergency brake pulled tight. You push forward with all your physical might, but an invisible force pulls you back into the exact same cycle of financial lack. I am here to tell you that this is not a lack of effort. You do not have a motivation problem. You do not have a discipline problem. You are tired in a way that sleep does not fix. The heavy weight sitting on your chest every morning is not because you are inadequate. It is because you are fighting a brutal war against an opponent you cannot even see. You are fighting your own mind, and until you understand the architecture of this hidden battle, you will remain exhausted. The masses blindly believe that wealth is the direct result of physical labor. They trade their finite time for a meager paycheck and call it a life. But look around you. The hardest working people on this earth are rarely the wealthiest. The bricklayer works until his back is entirely broken. If hard work alone created massive fortunes, these people would be the undisputed masters of the world, but they are not. You have a programming problem. Deep within the architecture of your subconscious mind, there is an outdated script running on an endless loop. It is quietly and efficiently sabotaging every conscious step you take toward wealth. You consciously desire financial freedom, but your subconscious mind is secretly terrified of success. It holds on to beliefs of scarcity installed long before you could defend yourself. Your conscious mind is merely the captain of the ship, but your subconscious mind is the powerful engine room. You can stand at the wheel all day and command the ship to sail toward abundance, but if the massive engine room below is geared strictly for poverty, you will never reach your destination. The engine will overpower the steering wheel every single time. This is the invisible enemy stealing your life force. The subconscious does not argue with you. It does not rationalize or question your deepest fears. It simply executes the orders it has been given without hesitation. If you carry a hidden belief that wealth is corrupt, your mind will flawlessly obey. It will literally repel lucrative opportunities. It will create relentless chaos in your life just to maintain the familiar and comfortable state of lack. You are not cursed. You are simply operating on a flawed mental operating system. Andrew Carnegie and Thomas Edison did not build their legendary empires through sweat alone. They knew a secret that the unthinking masses refuse to believe. They knew that wealth is not chased. Wealth is magnetized. It is the natural and inevitable byproduct of a mind operating on a specific frequency. You get exactly what you are. There are exactly two kinds of men in this world. The drifter allows his subconscious programming to dictate his entire fate. He complains and blames the economy for his empty pockets. The creator forces reality to bend to his iron will by aggressively rewriting the code within his own mind. You are watching this right now because you belong to the latter group. You have felt the undeniable call to greatness. Stop what you are doing and listen. Truly listen. Because the next few minutes will determine whether you spend the rest of your life as a drifter or as a king. The universe does not respond to beggars. It responds only to commanders. It responds to the man who has taken absolute and ruthless control over the battlefield between his own ears. Chaos in the mind breeds chaos in the bank account. The exact moment you bring your attention under strict order, the physical world steps aside and bows to your clear direction. You must stop trying to change your external circumstances. It is a complete waste of your precious and limited energy. The mirror only reflects what stands directly before it. If you desperately want a different reflection, you must change the internal state of your own being. Every single thought you entertain is a seed planted in the fertile and unforgiving soil of your subconscious. The soil does not care if you plant a seed of deadly poison or a seed of nourishing corn. You have been planting seeds of doubt, fear, and financial anxiety for many long years. And now you are frustrated by the bitter and painful harvest. You must take full responsibility for the garden of your mind today. There is a singular mechanism that governs all creation in this universe. It is a hidden law that cleanly separates the men who constantly struggle from the few men who conquer. The drifter operates in complete and blissful ignorance of this universal law. The master uses it every single day as his primary weapon of choice. By the end of this profound chapter, you will understand exactly why your hard work has not paid off. You will finally see the heavy invisible chains holding you down, and much more importantly, you will learn how to shatter them permanently. You must prepare your mind right now to receive this difficult truth. It will violently challenge everything society has taught you about success and money. It will require you to abandon your comfortable excuses and step into a terrifying level of personal power. Let us begin. Principle 1. You think you are losing your mind because your relentless effort produces absolutely nothing. But here is the truth that no one will ever tell you. You are not broken. You are simply completely misaligned. The universe works by law, not by clock. Working longer hours does not bend the fabric of reality. The drifter believes that wealth is a physical object to be hunted down. He spends his entire life running after money. He believes that if he runs fast enough, he will eventually catch it. But wealth is not prey. It cannot be trapped by desperate hands. The Creator understands that wealth is a frequency. It must be attracted. Look at the masses. They wake up in a state of absolute panic. Their first conscious thought is about the bills they cannot pay. They complain about the economy. They resent the rich. And they carry this heavy vibration of poverty into every single action they take. The drifter expects failure and is rarely disappointed. The architect of destiny operates on a completely different plane. He does not beg the world for an opportunity. He dictates his terms. Even when his bank account is completely empty, he acts as if he is already holding massive wealth. He holds his mind steady in the brutal storms. He refuses to consume the toxic fear of the crowd. Now, let me make this plain. Thoughts are not just empty clouds floating in your head. They are living forces. They are magnetic currents of energy. Every single time you hold a thought, you send a measurable vibration out into the physical universe. Your brain is a highly advanced transmission tower. Every thought is a seed, every action is water, and your reality is the harvest. This is not philosophy. That is law, like gravity. If you drop a stone from a roof, it will fall to the ground every single time. Gravity does not care if you are a good person or a bad person. It only obeys its own strict nature. The mental realm operates under a law just as rigid and unforgiving as gravity. It is the one law that dictates the shape of your entire life. Most men spend their lives missing it completely. They focus on learning new business strategies or networking tactics. But all those external tools are completely useless if your internal frequency is broken. The law of dominant thought states that you will attract exactly what you hold in your mind most often. It is that simple, and it is that demanding. If you constantly worry about being poor, your mind becomes a powerful magnet for poverty. The universe simply mirrors your dominant vibration back to you. Do not misunderstand me. This is not about sitting on a couch and smiling while your life falls apart. I am not telling you to be blindly optimistic. Toxic positivity is for the weak. You must maintain cold calmness when facing extreme adversity. You must look at failure simply as raw data. The builder does not panic when the foundation cracks. He studies the crack. He adjusts his blueprint. And he continues building with absolute certainty. He demands excellence from his own mind. He stands as the mental gatekeeper at the door of his consciousness. He violently rejects any thought that suggests weakness or defeat. Your subconscious is a tireless contractor. It builds exactly what you instruct it to build. If you give it blueprints drawn with fear, it will construct a prison. It does not judge the quality of the plans. It only executes them with perfect precision. You have been feeding it blueprints of scarcity for decades. Listen to me carefully. You cannot outwork a negative belief system. You can work 20 hours a day and still end up bankrupt if your mind expects ruin. The invisible law of vibration will always override your physical labor. You must stop fighting the symptoms and start attacking the actual disease. This is why your hard work has not paid off. The paradox is finally solved. You were trying to move a mountain with a shovel while your mind was actively building another mountain right in front of you. You were canceling out your physical effort with your negative mental frequency. The moment you align your thoughts with abundance, the struggle disappears. I did not say the work disappears. The work remains. But it is no longer a desperate struggle. It becomes inspired action. You move with the silent power of a sovereign commander. The doors open easily for you. This one law is the supreme ruler of your financial destiny. You must master it before you do anything else. If you master this one law, you will never lack money again. It is an absolute certainty. The universe is overflowing with infinite resources waiting for a mind capable of receiving them. Let us look deeper into the mechanics of this universal law. Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one state into another. Your thoughts are concentrated units of pure energy. When you focus your mind on a single definite purpose, you gather this scattered energy into a laser beam. A standard light bulb illuminates a small room, but it cannot cut through anything. It is weak because its energy is scattered in every single direction. But when you take that exact same light and focus it tightly, it becomes a laser. A laser can cut through solid steel. Your mind operates the exact same way. The drifter has a scattered mind. He wants wealth on Monday. He fears bankruptcy on Tuesday. He dreams of a vacation on Wednesday. His mental energy is diffused and entirely powerless. He wonders why he cannot break through the solid walls of his financial prison. It is because his light is too dim. The master of fate selects one singular desire. He focuses all his mental energy upon that one point until it becomes a burning obsession. He ignores all distractions. He refuses to acknowledge temporary defeat. This concentrated thought force eventually penetrates the physical realm and pulls his desire into actual reality. But you must not just take my word for it. The drifter hears this and dismisses it as mere fantasy. He prefers to remain comfortable in his miserable reality. The 1% demands evidence. They study the lives of the titans who came before them. They look for the hidden patterns of monumental success. History is filled with men who used this exact mental architecture to conquer the globe. Men who started with absolutely nothing but a single dominant thought. Men who bent the industrial world to their iron will. We must examine how they applied this law in the darkest moments of their lives. Let us look to the example of Andrew Carnegie. He did not start his life with a massive inheritance or powerful connections. He arrived in this country as a penniless immigrant boy, working in a dirty boiler room. The drifter looks at his eventual steel empire and calls it pure luck, but Carnegie possessed a specific mental protocol. He understood that the physical world is entirely secondary to the mental realm. Before a single steel mill was ever built, it existed perfectly in his focused mind. He did not merely hope for wealth, he demanded it from the universe. He operated as a sovereign commander of his own internal frequency. Now, let us examine Thomas Edison. The masses know him as the man who invented the light bulb, but they completely ignore the brutal reality of his relentless failures. He failed thousands of times in his dark laboratory. A weak man would have surrendered to the crushing weight of public humiliation. But Edison was not a drifter. He was a master of his own fate. He violently rejected the concept of failure and classified it simply as raw data. He knew that every single unsuccessful attempt brought him one step closer to the inevitable physical manifestation. His mind was an unstoppable force. This is where modern neuroscience perfectly meets ancient timeless wisdom. You might think these men were simply born with superior brains, but science now proves the exact opposite is true. Your brain has a built-in filtering system called the reticular activating system. It acts as the ultimate mental gatekeeper. This system constantly scans your physical environment for information that perfectly matches your dominant beliefs. If you secretly believe money is scarce, your brain will literally delete lucrative opportunities from your vision. It will only show you evidence that perfectly confirms your deepest internal fears. You become entirely blind to wealth. The drifter uses this powerful biological mechanism to actively destroy his own life. He focuses entirely on his mounting debts and his miserable job. And his brain obediently filters out any possibility of escape. It traps him completely, but the Creator hijacks this exact same system to build massive wealth. Say this aloud right now. I am the architect of my own destiny. Let the vibration of those words completely rewire your brain. When you force your mind to focus exclusively on abundance, your internal gatekeeper shifts its primary target. It begins hunting for wealth. It works tirelessly on your behalf. It suddenly spots the hidden resources and the lucrative connections that were always sitting right in front of you. The external world has not changed at all. Only your internal frequency has shifted. You have finally tuned your biological receiver to the exact frequency of wealth. The doors open for you. Henry Ford understood this invisible law better than any engineer of his time. When he demanded a V8 motor cast in one solid block, his brilliant engineers said it was impossible. They brought him endless calculations proving that it simply could not be done. They were speaking the language of limitation. Ford did not argue with their limited logic. He simply ordered them to produce it anyway. He refused to let the impossible enter his conscious mind. He stood as an immovable mountain of absolute certainty, and eventually, the physical universe surrendered and the impossible motor was built. This is the profound secret of the Titans. They did not wait for the physical world to give them a lucky break. They imposed their iron will upon reality through sustained and dominant thought. They gave their subconscious minds a highly specific and entirely uncompromising blueprint to execute. You must understand the immense power sleeping quietly inside your skull. The universe does not reward the man who complains about his circumstances. It heavily rewards the man who boldly dictates his own reality. You cannot afford to entertain a single weak thought ever again. It is far too dangerous. Your mind is a sacred temple. You must defend it with ruthless aggression. The moment a fearful thought attempts to enter, you must immediately cast it out. You are the sovereign commander of your internal empire. You must issue clear and powerful directives to your subconscious every single day. The drifter ignores this deep truth and returns to his invisible prison. He chooses the comfort of his misery over the deep pain of true mental discipline. But you are not a drifter. You are watching this because you are finally ready to claim your rightful throne in this world. You refuse to be average. But understanding the law is only the first step. Knowing how the engine works will not drive the car for you. You must actually sit in the driver's seat. You must learn the exact daily mechanism to install this frequency deep into your own brain. This requires absolute dedication. The ordinary man believes that success is a matter of chaotic action. He works until his hands bleed, but his mind remains a mess of conflicting desires. The 1% knows that disciplined thought must always precede disciplined action. You must master the internal before you can ever conquer the external. How did these great men actually program their minds when everyone else was merely sleeping? They used a very specific ritual to bypass the noisy conscious mind. And that brings us directly to the practical application of this universal law. Are you ready to begin? You must listen very closely now. Now we are getting close to the thing you can actually do. You have heard the profound theories and the historical evidence, but knowledge without immediate execution is absolutely worthless. While the drifter collects endless information and never changes his miserable life, the Creator demands a specific protocol to force his reality to shift. We begin tonight. Your subconscious is most vulnerable during the narrow window right before you fall asleep. The drifter uses this sacred time to worry about his unpaid bills. He brings his deep anxiety into his bed. Because he goes to sleep in total fear, his subconscious spends the next 8 hours building a reality of pure scarcity. You must completely stop this destructive behavior. You will implement the cosmic housekeeping ritual tonight. For 15 minutes before you sleep, you must turn off every single screen. You must violently disconnect from the endless noise of the masses. Do not consume their toxic news or their cheap entertainment. Your mind requires absolute silence to hear the quiet instructions of your true destiny. In this deep silence, you must write down your definite chief aim. You cannot just vaguely wish for more money. The universe does not understand vague requests. You must demand an exact amount of wealth and a specific date for its arrival, writing it down on a physical piece of paper to bridge the mental and material worlds. Say this aloud right now wherever you are. I am the absolute master of my focus. Let your own ears hear your voice taking command. Once you have written your chief aim, you must read it out loud in the dark room until you feel the powerful emotion of already possessing that exact wealth. Emotion is the key. Words without deep emotion are completely empty. Your subconscious mind only speaks the primal language of feeling. If you read your goal while feeling anxious, you are programming failure. You must force yourself to feel the intense gratitude of victory before the battle is even fought, acting as if the money is already sitting in your bank account. This is the exact ritual that separates the builder from the dreamer. The dreamer hopes for a better future while he sleeps. The builder actively commissions his subconscious mind to construct his empire. You are handing the tireless contractor a flawless blueprint every single night, and you will wake up with inspired directives to execute during the day. The drifter will try this for 2 nights and then quit. He will claim that the law does not work because he did not get rich by Wednesday. He is entirely pathetic. The universe tests your resolve through the invisible season, watching to see if you will maintain your frequency when the physical evidence has not yet fully appeared. You must persist through the frustrating silence of the universe. You must treat this nighttime tradition as absolutely sacred. Protect it with your very life. If you miss a single night, you have allowed the enemy back into your mental fortress, so you must remain a vigilant mental gatekeeper without letting your guard down. You are reprogramming decades of terrible mental habits. This requires aggressive discipline and unrelenting repetition. Every time you read your definite purpose, you are carving a new neural pathway. You are tearing down the rusty architecture of your past failures, literally rewiring your brain to effortlessly attract massive abundance into your daily existence. Close your eyes for just 1 second. Visualize the exact life you know you deserve. See the wealth and the freedom clearly in your mind. Open your eyes. That vision is not a silly fantasy. It is a preview of your inevitable future if you fiercely protect your internal frequency. You must choose to believe it. But you will face a brutal war. Your old self will scream at you to give up. The drifter inside you wants to return to the comfortable misery of playing the victim. He will tell you that this ritual is foolish and try to convince you that hard physical labor is the only safe way. You must violently crush that weak voice. You are no longer a consumer of circumstances. You are a sovereign creator, and a creator does not negotiate with his own doubt. You lay down the law and your mind must obey, forcing it back into alignment through sheer repetition if it ever attempts to rebel against your new rules. This ritual will eventually become completely automatic. The heavy resistance will melt away, and suddenly you will notice the profound shift in your physical reality. Opportunities will literally hunt you down, and the money will flow to you because you have finally become a magnetic force that the universe cannot ignore. You now hold the exact blueprint used by the 1%. The heavy burden of ignorance has been permanently lifted from your shoulders. But with this profound clarity comes an immense and terrifying responsibility because you can no longer blame your boss or the economy for your lack of wealth. The practice is simple, but incredibly demanding. It requires you to be a king when you feel like a peasant. It demands absolute faith in the unseen mechanism. Will you perform the ritual tonight, or will you go to sleep as a victim of your own chaotic thoughts while the rest of the world passes you by? Now comes the turning point. You stand at the absolute edge of your old life. The information has been delivered and the ritual is clear. But understanding the rules of the game does not mean you have won. You must cross the terrifying threshold. You must kill the drifter to birth the creator. The time for senseless drifting is officially over. You have finally heard the absolute universal law. You now know that every excuse you have ever made was nothing but a shadow. But you are standing at the absolute edge of your own existence while the massive weight of your past failures pulls violently at your feet. You must make a firm and unyielding choice tonight. You cannot possibly serve two completely conflicting masters. You cannot desire infinite wealth while you secretly worship your comfortable poverty. The drifter inside your mind is desperately screaming for mercy. He deeply wants to survive this painful transition. He wants you to wake up tomorrow and entirely forget everything you heard. But you must ruthlessly destroy him, because he is the architect of your misery, and he will happily lead you straight into an early grave. You must say to yourself that this dark chapter of endless struggle is permanently over. No more weak thinking. No more playing the pathetic victim. There is absolutely no neutral thought in this massive universe. Every single thought is either pushing you forward or pulling you violently back into the dirt. It is either moving you toward ultimate freedom or reinforcing your heavy bondage. The man who truly realizes this powerful fact begins to treat his thoughts as dangerous weapons, and he refuses to let society dictate his internal frequency. He stops playing foolish games with his own mind. He becomes a sovereign commander. He takes his rightful place on the absolute throne of his consciousness. Fear is the absolute greatest liar you will ever face in your human life. It is a terrifying phantom that only exists because you constantly feed it with your precious attention. When you completely starve your fear by refusing to look at it, it rapidly loses its heavy grip on your reality. You must aggressively starve your doubts starting today. The drifter constantly feeds his fears by obsessing over what could possibly go wrong. The creator strictly feeds his immense faith by obsessing over his inevitable and glorious victory. Look closely at your own hands. They have worked so incredibly hard for so many long years. They have built amazing things for other men who controlled the true wealth. But physical labor without a dominant mental frequency is just a tragic waste of your precious life force and your limited time on this earth. You must completely break free from the heavy shackles of negative thinking. Your disciplined mind is the only true gateway to your desired reality. A wrong decision is always infinitely better than absolutely no decision at all. Drifting is the ultimate enemy of a prosperous and fully abundant life. When you refuse to make a firm choice, you are handing the steering wheel of your life over to complete chaos. You must take the heavy wheel back today. Make a powerful decision tonight that you will never again accept the pathetic scraps thrown to you by a broken society. You completely deserve the entire feast. Your dominant thoughts are the key, and your massive destiny is waiting right now. You are exactly one bold decision away from unstoppable and violent momentum. You are one single belief away from absolute mental clarity. You are one mental shift away from a completely new and wealthy life. But that profound shift will never happen by sheer accident. It will never manifest unless you aggressively force it to happen through your own iron will and your unrelenting daily discipline. You did not click this specific video by mere accident today. You came here as a man deeply exhausted by the endless drift. You were incredibly tired of playing the helpless victim to your external circumstances. But today you have finally remembered exactly who you truly are, and you will never again allow the loud noise of the crowd to dictate your internal frequency. You are the supreme mental gatekeeper of your own sacred thoughts. From this night forward, you must act entirely independently of temporary motivation. You are a ruthless builder in the invisible season of your magnificent life. Stand up right now and loudly claim your rightful throne. The world has absolutely no choice but to bend to your highly disciplined mind. Your past does not dictate your future unless you consciously carry it forward. The vast universe does not care who you were yesterday. It only responds to the exact frequency you are broadcasting right now in this very second. You are completely clean and you are entirely reborn today. Drop the heavy baggage of your previous financial failures. They were only brutal lessons designed to harden your powerful mind for the massive wealth that is rapidly coming. So what will your lasting historical legacy actually be? Will you be remembered as the weak man who allowed doubt to completely define his short life? Or will you be remembered as the courageous man who looked fear directly in the face and said, "Not today"? You must secure your ironclad commitment right now. Hesitation is the sudden and tragic death of your grand destiny. The universe is watching your next move. Leave your ultimate vow in the comments below this video today. Write your definite purpose clearly. State your 90-day commitment to the entire observing world. Do not let these be just empty digital words on a glowing screen. Let them be the sacred and binding contract you officially sign with your own destiny tonight. When you physically write it down, you force the universe to listen to your specific demands. This profound knowledge is extremely heavy and entirely unforgiving. It will not serve you if you hear it only once and let it fade into the loud noise of tomorrow. Your stubborn subconscious requires massive daily repetition to effectively build a completely new world. Therefore, I command you to listen to this exact lesson again and again. Play it as you slowly fall asleep. Play it as you confidently drive to work. Make these universal principles the only powerful voice you tolerate in your head. Share this specific message with the one person who is building a massive empire alongside you. Do not share it with the completely blind masses. They will constantly mock you because they are terrified of your rapidly growing power. Keep your inner circle small and keep your energetic vibration incredibly high. Subscribe to this channel right now if this powerful tradition is yours. Return to this exact video every single night until your physical reality completely shifts. Your brand new life officially begins in this exact and precious moment. Never again let a negative thought decide your ultimate financial future. You are the absolute master of your own fate. The universe is completely yours to command.